Hello, Alex, Raika, and Raymond. I hope I got your names right. Thank you so much for making time for this interview. It's really a pleasure to have you with us. How are you doing?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Fine. Well,
Thanks. We're spending a day in the studio. So this morning we did some rehearsals, and now we're doing interviews.
So, my first question is you've been in the musical industry for over 20 years. That is for almost as I have existed for. So, I am wondering how have your music has evolved since then?
It evolved constantly. I think the only kind of thing that stayed constant was the connection with movies. I think there's always a very visual aspect about our music. But on the other hand, there was always alternative pop music, I guess. In the beginning, a bit more electronic, so then it was called trip hop or whatever you want to call it. But it always stayed. Well, every Hooverphonic song is like a soundtrack to a non-existing movie or something. That's our goal. So whatever we do, it needs to be very visual, and hence the wrong place. If you see the video, the song is the script and the video is the final execution of the script, you know. And I think that's also the reason why a lot of our music got used in movies and films and stuff, because there's always a very strong kind of like cinematographic aspect.
So in 2020, your debut as the main Belgium act would happen at the Eurovision Song Contest, but unfortunately, the contest would be cancelled due to the pandemic situation. So how did you face that reality, and were you expecting that to happen?
To be honest, you know, we were expecting it to happen. The day before, you know, football got canceled. If football gets canceled in the world, you know, there is a problem. We knew from the moment that got canceled that Eurovision would be canceled as well. Yeah, it was a pity, of course. But on the other hand, the first thing we were thinking about was like, if they're going to cancel that, then the whole festival summer will get canceled. And that's a big problem for all our friends and all our, you know, people surrounding us, you know, our technical crew. And so we were extremely worried for the future of Belgian music, actually. After a couple of months, I started writing, you know, because we needed a new song. So that writing kept me kind of going and kept us also, well, busy for some kind of reason. But then during summer, I stopped for a month and I became really depressed, you know. And then I started writing again, and then I got through it. So it's like a year with ups and downs, I guess. But we're very happy that we have the Eurovision Song Contest, because it's something to look forward to. And also the fact that we were working on an album kind of helped us, I guess. I think it's very important to stay busy.
And did you ever expect to be invited again by Belgium to represent the country at the Eurovision?
We immediately called and immediately decided that. Well, there was one thing. The French part, of course, needed to kind of say yes, because in Belgium, as you might know it's like 1 year it's the Flemish part and then it's the French part. Technically, the French part could have said, hey, it's our turn now. But they were like, of course, they were very nice. And they said like, no, it's definitely still your turn. And we're very happy that Hooverphonic is going. After a couple of days, we were sure that we were going. And we immediately decided to write a new song.
So in late 2020, Hika returned to your project Hooverphonic. So what brought her back to your band after so many years doing her solo career?
It had nothing to do with Eurovision, that's for sure.
No.
It was basically how do these things happen. Coincidentally, she called me for a television program she was in. She wanted to ask me something technical, and we got talking, and we were talking, how are you doing? And what are you doing? And
there was the celebration of the Magnificent Tree, 20 years Magnificent Tree,
and
then
20 years Mad About You.
And Mad About You, which was going to be re-released at some point, and then it felt good to do that together. And then we started talking about the next possible steps, and it all felt good. There's chemistry between us. I think that that's very important, and you cannot ignore so it was quite simple.
The three of us felt like working together, and it felt good to us. And of course, we knew a lot of fans were waiting for a long time. So finally, we decided to do that in November, and then we said to Hika, by the way, we're going to Rotterdam. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So this year in 2021, you had submitted a different song with a lighter content and theme in comparison to last year's song, and that was Release Me. So this year's The Wrong Place has a more fun theme and a more fun topic. So why did you decide to make it different, make this contrast for this year?
The Wrong Place is kind of It's darker sounding, but the lyrics are a bit more, there's a bit more dark humor in it, which of course is true. Release Me, of course, was talking about me saying goodbye to my dad. So that has a very kind of like serious kind of, but then the music was a bit more light, I guess. So we always like contrast, I think. When the music is dark, we like the lyric to be a bit kind of like, you know, tongue in cheek. When the lyric is like, you know, very serious, we like the music a bit lighter. Always looking for contrast, a bit like in food, you know, like if you put salt in food, you need sour, you know, and if you put chili in it, you need sweet. And it's like,
yeah, but it is lighter maybe in that aspect, but I do believe some weight. It depends on where you are in your life, and I think it's good that we put this humor part in it.
The video definitely made it a bit more funny.
So what is the meaning behind the wrong place, behind the story and the lyrics?
The lyric actually talks about two people who are opposites and thought they would they would match, and they don't, you know. And it's something I learned, you know. You have the saying opposites attracts. That's definitely true, but some people believe that it works in a relationship. To be honest, I've been in quite a few relationships. It can be a little, but if it's too much, it definitely doesn't work, you know. Like, and this one talks about like her liking a drink and a cigarette and him being way too healthy and whatever. There's too much contrast and it doesn't work, you know. So immediately the next day realize like, oh, this is kind of like too extreme. It will never work, you know.
So let's go over the lyrics. Could you tell us why you decided to include these phrases, the Johnny Cash t-shirt and organic tea? Why that?
That's a funny story. While I was writing this song with Charlotte, is like the co-writer of the song, we were having lunch and I heard Johnny Cash on the radio. And I said as a joke, why don't we try to use Johnny Cash in the lyric? And then at some point, you know, we got to this part where she was really mad in the lyric and I needed something to kind of like, you know, make it more extreme, you know. So that's where we finally decided to use the Johnny Cash, you know. And it's also cool because the song doesn't sound Johnny Cash at all, you know. If you listen to the guitar sound, it actually there is a little, but it's so hidden that it's like not obvious. But what's like, you know, typical about Hooverphonic is it's always it's alternative pop music. It always has like a deeper meaning, you know. From the surface, it sounds maybe sometimes very catchy and pop, but if you listen close, it's always like more layers. I drink organic tea all the time, and I drink high quality organic tea, which is like, you know, you wouldn't believe what I pay for tea, but that's the only addiction I have after 25 years of rock and roll. So my wife is very happy that that's the only addiction I have. I drink one cup after the other. I just don't stop the whole day through. So I have a good friend, he's Chinese and he imports it directly from China. And it's like, he only imports organic. And sometimes, you know, I drink a cup that is not organic and then he's really pissed at me. He's, Alex, it's not organic. How can you drink this? It's not good for you.
Have you heard any of the other competing songs this year? Is there any song that stands out to you?
Yeah. Well, we did. Hika, I don't know.
No, I didn't go through the whole.
No, we did. Me and Raymond. France, though, that's really good. I think. Yeah, I really like it, but it's very French. But of course, Belgium is connected to, in a way, to France, so we're used to French chanson. So I like it. I think she's a good performer. It's a very catchy song, and at the same time, there's no beat. There's just piano and strings. I like that. I like Russia. It's like, you know, Russia is kind of funny, and it's funny and not funny because it's like really like you released on Women's Day. There's a lot of comments in Russia itself, but I like it. I like the contrast. Again, it's contrast. It's like Russian hip hop, and at some point suddenly there's this Russian kind of like chorus, and then it goes into hip hop again. Yeah, Portugal is not bad. Although I think, you know, like one of my favorite all-time songs of the Eurovision Song Festival is Salvador Sobral. That was like, you know, one of the few times in Eurovision history that I got touched emotionally, that I felt like, oh, this is really, really beautiful.
Which one is your all-time favorite Belgian song in the history of Eurovision?
Yeah, of course, Sandra Kim, you know, like she won. Well, it was just perfect, you know, she was young, it was catchy. It was kitsch, but it was perfect, 80s kitsch, perfect 80s kitsch. I think Blanche did well. She had a nice song 4 years ago. Blanche is really good, I think. And then we go back in time, a long time ago. We had a guy called Louis Neves. He did a beautiful song. Yeah. Jennifer Jennings.
Well, we had Pas de Deux.
And then, we also have, sometimes Belgium has like these really out of the box things like Pas de Deux. It was like two girls singing, and they had, the line was rendezvous and the mouth is full and cop is too. It's like, it was 3 lines and that was it. And that was, and then Telex, it's a friend of ours, Dan Laxman. We used to work a lot at his studio, and they had a Eurovision.
And who are your favorites from the past in general?
Salvador Sobral. Wow. Salvador Sobral. Of course, ABBA, Waterloo, France Gall, Coupé de Cire, Coupé de Son was very good. Limit is fond of Anouk's song, Birds.
Yeah, Birds, I kind of like that. I'm not an Anouk fan, to be honest, but that song really,
What plans do you have in store for us after Eurovision? Maybe an album coming up?
Well, we would like to tour, but it's difficult at this moment. An album is coming out on the 7th of May. Then normally we would start touring on a new album, but that's going to be for autumn. Yeah, if everything goes well. Yeah. Maybe the end of summer. I don't know. We'll see.
Considering you have quite a long career in music, you started in the 90s. It's funny that you are just participating in Eurovision in 2020 and now in 2021. So I'm wondering, have you thought about participating earlier in your career, or just felt to be right at this moment?
No, because if you would have asked us in 2000, we were constantly on the road. We were like touring all the time, It were different. Those were different times, Record companies paid you to be on tour, because they wanted to sell albums. Nowadays, you tour way more focused, because touring is like our income. So nowadays, we have the possibility to kind of put it in our schedule, something like Eurovision. Mm-hmm. And even then, we were lucky last year that it fitted. And this year, it does fit because we can't tour. So,
have you ever been in Portugal for a concert or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Paradise Garage. We played a couple of times. We played at the festival. What was the name of the festival? Big festival. Yeah. If you're playing at the Paradise Garage, you're not far from the harbor in Lisbon, and there's really good restaurants. So nice seafood, nice vintage ports. And then I couldn't play anymore. I got back to the club. I felt like, I ate too much. We played in Porto. We played different places actually. Porto was a very beautiful old theater. And the backstage was really beautiful.
All right. So, do you have a final message for the Portuguese fans that are watching us now?
Well, we're definitely coming to play in Portugal on the next album. We don't know when, but we're definitely planning on coming over again. It's been a while, so we're looking forward to come back to Portugal. Hopefully, like the Portuguese vote for us,
Thank you so much for making time for this interview. It really means a lot to all of us. And we wish you all the success to the Eurovision Song Contest and for your future album and for all the projects that are coming up. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.